the Bible is a divine interpretation of how people speak to God. So people be like, it's a fairy tale book. It's metaphors. Dang, it be some people that be so slow. They got dark comedy all throughout the book. It's a divine interpretation, right? Like literally, it's people that inherit God's voice and then they end up betraying God because they don't listen to the voice. When they don't listen to the voice, it's showing that either your thoughts is to help you out or to mess your mind up. So when you crack open the book, they got chapters like, okay, Elijah, when he got clowned for his bald spot, he had the bear eat people, but then that's again a metaphor. You know what I'm saying? I don't know too much of the metaphor, but that is hilarious. You know, they got somebody might can comment what that mean, and then you got another prophet named Elijah that came after he came after Jesus, I believe. This the one that had super speed and everything, but then he was the one that set the bull on fire by praying to the sun when the other people couldn't set the bull on fire. They was like clowning each other during the cookout. Daniel was clowning the government, you know what I'm saying? They was trying to tear Daniel up. Daniel stand for denial. He was the one that never denied God. Moses had to pass it down to Joshua because Joshua was the one that listened to everybody, part of the 12 spies that was in Moses' crew. And Moses also was arguing with God because the Israelites would not listen to him. When they got lost in the desert, all they did, they woke up from slavery, but they became some of the most complaining people that you can talk to because like they started like, oh man, you know, they was complaining. Like Moses grew up in a kingdom. These people were slaves that he ended up freeing, and when he woke them up to make them know, hey, y'all slaves, and they had one in the desert, they was already going without things, but then they started saying, what we gonna eat? Where the water at? Why we can't go back? Where is we going? Like they was complaining through the whole journey. The only one that didn't complain was Joshua. That's why Joshua ended up inheriting the spirit next. Then you got David had messed up, and then when David messed up, they gave him three choices, and he had to send an angel to destroy his whole village. Solomon gets the voice. When Solomon got the voice, Solomon ended up messing up too because he couldn't keep his thing in his pants. And when God told him, hey, leave that woman alone, I gave you everything you asked for, Solomon still slept with that woman by getting the information from arrows. And then you also got man, it's so many prophets that messed up. And people think it's just starting with Adam and Eve, but they made clothes. Cain made vegetation. Like everyone that messed up, they created something though that blessed people. So that's why everything created ends up becoming destruction when the next generation doesn't know how to use it. Cell phones is becoming a destruction now because Steve Jobs was somebody tried to create it for us to really have fun, entertainment time. As soon as they wiped him off, all they did was remake the iPhone every year, every year, every year. And they downgrading the phone because they running out of materials, but then they make it look like it's more advanced by adding commercials and stuff. And then they change the product so you gotta buy this for it, you gotta buy that for it. And then even video games now, you have to pay for clothes or you gotta walk around in like some trash suits. Like they make everything a social experiment to conduct. Like how can we get more fees from these people? Because man, if we done built up a society where ain't nothing free, it's just a fee. Farmers gotta goddamn get seeds from the government. They have to tell them what they planting. You know what I'm saying? That stuff gotta get sprayed down with certain pesticides. Like boy, everything in this country is like it ain't good for you. So I'm drinking my volcano water. I ain't even ate today, but again, I'm gonna make sure I'm not gonna erupt because it got the volcano, Cain name in there too. The volume of Cain that people need is water so they can get to their Noah, and then when they get to their Noah, Moses and Osmosis, the unconscious decisions need to float up to make more conscious, positive decisions because nothing is like real in this world. A lot of stuff is real, but then in reality, we fight over a book saying it's made up, but they made up these laws. All these laws made up. These are not the real laws. And if you read the book, they was trying to tell you they was in captivity too. So it's slaves writing messages to slaves to free them. And then the people that wasn't like the conquerors and stuff that used God to conquer the land, they took them out the Bible and they told you about them in history classes, but then they didn't tell you how they was speaking to God. Like King Alexander, Genghis Khan, Hitler, like all these people, All these deep names, they spoke to God too. With them speaking to God, Napoleon Bonaparte, Shaka Zulu, a lot of them spoke to a spirit that told them how to conquer the world. And because Jesus didn't want to conquer the world, he wanted to go to the astral realm. People get confused and think that he didn't exist, but he didn't exist because they didn't want records of his mind being torn. Like they dig up graves of Egyptians, took them. They dig up graves of slaves. They did autopsies on them. They are grave diggers that take the body, see how it works on the inside, and then they come up with methods in order to control people. They don't do methods to heal people. They do it for control, a population control. They don't have a higher source of knowledge to really believe that his spirit's always watching them. So now they want to watch everybody. They trying to become the spirit in human form and forget that they have a spirit inside that has to deal with something once they are cut open. Like, people don't think too far ahead. They might think 5, 10 years ahead, but they're not thinking you can go any second until you realize that you can go any second. Because it's like near-death experiences put you in a whole nother portal of reality. I done had like several of them, so me surviving those and seeing other people not passing, you know what I'm saying, with those, it let me know that, oh, our heart is actually the selected thing that has to stop breathing for us to, not stop breathing, but stop beating for us to, like, not exist anymore. So if your heart is continuing to beat, that means it's still pumping blood inside the vessel to give ideas and stuff. And some people are too heavy-hearted because they done became a shell of themselves. They look at everybody, they overthink situations, and when they up here, they can't get any signal from this. When you can't get signal from this, you know what I'm saying, it's not letting you realize we all have to survive. So they done got to their riches and they like, man, I don't care who's surviving out there. They got to do what I did. Or they ain't blessed as I'm blessed. You know what I'm saying? It's the blessings come after life. So you here to see what you gonna gain in the next round. And they can contact you, give you signs, give you blessings, give you knowledge of who you used to be. But then that's comes in time of what you and your mind decides to believe in. Because when your mind starts asking questions, we got a whole Google to look up any question that we got. That don't mean we gotta tell everybody we know it. That just means we can look it up. We can discover it. We don't have to, even believe what the system is telling us, because that's still another computer. But then if you're going to think everything is lying, you're going to drive yourself crazy. That's going to really get them bolts out the head, and you ain't going to believe in nothing. That's going to cause a Truman syndrome, and there's been people with that already. That's the people that end up taking other people's lives because they don't have no remorse. It's already gone within their wisdom that other people exist. They done spoke so much to their mind and came dark, and they let that dark energy take over them to where when they seen that leakage and seen that life leave from somebody, they was like, oh, I can do this more often. You know what I'm saying? And then more over time, you see that they started creating forensics and different things to trace back because the blood, once it spills, man, that stuff got so much DNA to it. You feel me? Like, and then not just that, when somebody passes away, their body fully decomposes, so it opens up the immune system, and then like they just straight use the bathroom on themselves. All the valves that's like held together end up loosening up, and then it just break wind, and it just like all that flood out. So like just taking somebody, like, you gonna smell it and everything. And he who smelt it dealt it. So when police, because they reading books about different people, they getting all this information. If they ask the right questions, they can really become detectives. But then the private detectives can't even work for the government because those are the ones that solve crimes, not the officers. The officers don't have authority to solve crimes. They got the authority to solve like what gets communicated up, because then it has to go to a court system. So like if you out here doing stuff, somebody has to tell on you for them to even investigate it. Like somebody has to witness it and then want the ability to be like, I need to shut that down. I need to stop what's going on. And then that's how the whole criminal organization works. They say we the criminals, put us front page, but then there's more things going on underground.